Hello everyone, it's Tom again. Have you ever been to an event where the seating is not comfortable? If you're ever at a music festival or, for me, a tennis match, and you can sit there for ages just watching the game, and I have been to one at Kooyong Tennis Club. That's in Melbourne, and that's where the Australian Open used to be played before the tennis centre in Melbourne opened up. The seats in the stadium at Kooyong were actually long wooden benches. It was one continuous bench on each row of the seats, and they were slatted benches, so they had little space between each of the slats. And there were tiny little white marks where from here to here sort of thing, and that was where you sat. Now they were not very comfortable at all, and before long your behind was quite numb and you would have to move around, so they weren't the most comfortable of seats. So what you need is a cushion, and that's the best thing to bring with you, but you could actually buy cushions at the event, at the tennis event. And that's what I did, and that's what I'm going to look at today with you. So I've got 5 cushions, and they are 4 of them are tennis themed, but one of them was purchased at the tennis, but it was a sponsor's cushion, so the tennis was not on it. The actual sponsor, which is the ANZ, the Australian and New Zealand Bank, is the cushion that I'm going to show you first. So what I'm going to show you today are 5 cushions from my collection. I'm going to make it a bit fun today, so I'm going to rate them for certain categories. One is material, what it's made of, the thickness, because some of them are quite thin, some of them are thick, construction, whether it's got a zip on it or just no cover at all, and extras, because there's a cushion that's got extras with it other than just a seat. And lastly will be comfort, and I'm going to call the comfort test the Tushy test. So I will sit on them and I will tell you how comfortable they are or not. At the end of the test and the rating, I will then pick a winner, and based on the ones I'm showing you, you can decide whether you agree or not. And intermingled into the video will be little cushion facts that I've scrolled around the internet for. I've come across about 12, but whether I'll put all 12 on depends on the length of the video. And then at the end, I'll show you some silly names that I also found on the internet for cushions. And I'm not going to give you a prize for guessing the one that I like the best, but you'll probably find out what it is. Okay, so the first one is going to be one that I purchased in 2019. It was an Australian Open cushion. This is the one that doesn't have any tennis theme to it. It's just a cushion, but it was purchased at the Australian Open. And it's the one that is the sponsor's cushion, which is the ANZ Bank, and this is the cushion. So it's just a square cushion, as you can see. It just has the ANZ logo on this side. And that's the little logo that you see for the ANZ on the side over there. And then on the other side it says, "Take a seat." So there's not really much to this one. It's got a handle to carry it, which is always convenient. Especially when you bring a lot of stuff to the tennis, it's nice to just hang it as part of your bags and whatnot that you bring. As you can see, it's rather thin. It's probably about 1 inch in thickness. I'm not sure how comfortable that'll be, but we will have a look and test. And also on this one, it's got a cover, a zip cover, so you can actually open up this, and inside is just a piece of foam. So the foam is not very hard, it's quite soft foam. So I'm not thinking this one's going to be the most comfortable at the moment, but we'll have a look at the rest of them and see. So this is the first one, the square cushion by the ANZ from 2019. Now the second cushion is still sealed in the bag because it came in the bag. And this is from the Ford Australian Open again. But this one's from 1995. And on the other side, it has the Ford Australian Open logo, which is the serving man. And it has Australia's Grand Slam event written at the top there, just there. So on the back of this one, it also has the tennis centre as it was called then, which was Flinders Park. That was after the tennis began at the tennis centre. So it was Flinders Park, and then it was Melbourne Park, and then it became the tennis centre, and then it became just known as Rod Laver Arena. But the National Tennis Centre is what it is actually called. So this one I won't open up because it's a sealed product, but you can see it's slightly thicker. It's about maybe 1.25 inches in thickness. It's just 2 plastic strips here and here, and then it's sandwiched with the foam in between. So again, it's a very, very simple, no fancy bits to this at all, just a sandwich. So the next one is from 2007. It's also from the Australian Open. This is a sponsor's cushion again. So this is the Emirates airline, and it's in red. It's quite large. It's probably about 1/4 larger than the other ones, so it's quite a big cushion. It has on here, oh sorry, you can see that it's round and not square, but it has on here, I love Emirates, and here you can see like the tennis ball stitching marks. So this is to look like a tennis ball. And on the other side, it has the Australian Open logo and the text on there, which is the Grand Slam of Asia Pacific. This one also has a zip. It's quite a large zip on this one, but again, it is just a piece of foam, but it's a thicker piece of foam, and it's quite hard. You can also see that this one has the carrying handle, which is all stitched in. So this one's a canvas. This is not material. This is actually like deck chair canvas. So this is good for getting wet. It will dry out quite easily. And that one's quite a nice cushion. So we'll see how the test goes. The next cushion is a cushion from Wimbledon, and this is an irregular shape. This is, as you can see here, it's like a half moon shape, and then square. But here we have the carrying handle, which is not loose. It's actually cut into the cushion itself. It has the Wimbledon logo. And it also says AELTC, which is the All England Lawn Tennis Club. And then at the bottom it's got Wimbledon and 2003. And these stripes are green and purple, which is the official colours of Wimbledon. So I like this one because on the back of it is this very nice scenic picture of Wimbledon tennis court. This will be centre court, obviously. And it's a really nice graphic. So again, this is just a sort of rubber strip, and then another rubber strip, and these are the foam is glued to these fascias. But a rather nice cushion. Looking at the shape of this Wimbledon cushion, it's quite possible that it was made this shape because it might have better fitted the seats at Wimbledon. So this would have been the back of the seat, curved at the back, but straight at the front. So this is where your legs would be bent. It's quite possible that's why it was made that shape. It also, this graphic is also, it's not signed on the cushion, but this is the printed graphic, which also shows you the signature, and that signature is dated 2002. So that's a graphic that was produced in 2002, and they've decided to put it on their cushions. So the last cushion I'm going to show you today is another Wimbledon cushion. This cushion, when I purchased them, they were 2 cushions, exactly the same. And these cushions belonged to members of Wimbledon, and they are debenture members. So this is their, when I purchased the cushions, it came with all this. This is their membership ticket. And it says on here, Lawn Tennis Championships 2004, Centre Court debenture holder, and this ticket was for Sunday the 4th of July, which was day 13. So these 2 debenture holder came in this folder, which is a nice little folder, and inside this is a little pocket here. So inside there were these 2 tickets, debenture holder tickets. There was a travel guide to the championships. There was also a guide to the championships for debenture holders. So this tells you all about, so it's got a little map inside, so you know where you're going. Tells you about the catering that you're allowed to have, and all that sort of stuff. And so this was the debenture lounge menu and wine list, because the tickets allowed you into all sorts of things. I'll just read you a list of what they were allowed to. Premium passes linked to a 5-year financial bond with the club, with the All England Club. And they granted, those debenture tickets granted you the best seats on centre court or court 1 for every day of the tournament, exclusive access to private VIP lounges, bars and restaurants, and they're the only legally transferable Wimbledon tickets, so they can sell them if they want, the debenture holders. So if they can't make it for one day during the championships, they are allowed to sell the ticket and get some money for it, but no one else is. If you, once you leave the championships in general, you have to hand your ticket in, and then people, they get resold for a cheap price for people who have been in the queue at Wimbledon all day. So that's it's quite a good thing for them to do. So also in that little packet came this, which is the one of the restaurants. This restaurant's called The Last 3 Days. So this is the little flyer that was in that with it. And it also had the menu and the wine. Another restaurant was called the Summer Marquee. Again, this is a little flyer that was in that package. And that's what they had for eating and drinking at that. There was another a lunch menu and this was called the Renshaw. So the Renshaw brothers were one of the first players at Wimbledon, and this also has just the food that you can buy. And this one was afternoon tea at the Renshaw. So this is afternoon tea. So that's just what you could have, like whether it would be sandwiches, Devon scones, vanilla and lemon sponge, Wimbledon strawberries and double cream, and then Indian tea. And that was £8.50 for afternoon tea. And then you had the map of Wimbledon, see where you were going. These little leaflets came in this nice folder, and on the front you can see it's got the Wimbledon logos on them, and I don't think you'll be able to see it too well, but there's an embossed writing below it, but it basically says the Lawn Tennis Championships Wimbledon 2004. But I can't really show you that, it's not a good light to show you that. When I purchased the cushions, that little folder with all the debenture details and the actual debentures ticket holders for that year, which you can't use another year obviously, and that was quite a good buy. So I'll show you the cushion now. Well, here is the Wimbledon cushion. So this is the last cushion I'm going to show you, and it is quite a large cushion. It's from the debenture seats, so I got 2 of these along with all the stuff that was in that folder. You can see here it's got 2004 and the Wimbledon logo. And this is not just stitching, this is stitched into the actual cover, because this is a cover again that you can zip off and on to wash. It's a sort of nice dark green velvet. It's probably about just over 2 inches thick, so it's quite a thick cushion. This is all stitching, so that'll never come out. And then on the back of the cushion, it looks plain, but in actual fact, you can see here there is a pocket in the cushion. And so what that was for, because it goes right down to the bottom, and what that was for was to keep your program in. So you would slide your program in here, and if you had a newspaper, perhaps, whatever other little bits of paper you might have, you could put them in there as well. And on this one, here on a Velcro, which is quite well stitched, is this, and so you have the carrying handle. And this again is this quite expensive material. So this is a very plush velour. Nice touch to that. So as in some of the other ones I've got, this Wimbledon cushion has a zip, and this is to remove the cover so you can wash it and then put it back, put the foam back in again. But you can see that this piece of foam, this is the thickness of the cushion, just over 2 inches, and it's actually quite hard to push together, so it takes a lot of weight before it actually compresses all the way down. So this would be quite comfortable to sit on, I think, if you're sitting for any length of time. So today's video, I hope was of interest to you. There's not too many cushions in my collection, but it was interesting, I think, about the Wimbledon debenture tickets, and I'm not sure how much they would have paid, but I think when I looked at them online, a finals ticket in general was £350 for the men's final. So that's in about $700 for me to watch one men's singles match at Wimbledon. There are sports companies who do tours to Wimbledon, and I looked at them online, and the finals day ticket, if you wanted to buy one from them, was £23,000. I don't know what the hell you get for that ton of money, but hopefully you would get some bloody decent food and drink and all free, and souvenirs and all sorts of things I would expect for that kind of money. Definitely not going to be buying that myself though. Okay, so that's your lot for today. I hope you enjoyed the little video on the cushions. There's the interesting part about the debentures and what they're entitled to. I'm not too sure what they would pay for them, but certainly the viewing platform, which I've put a little picture of, will show you where the seats are for debenture holders, and they're around the whole court, down towards the front. So good seats to view the tennis and very close to the action. So until the next video, I hope you all keep well, and I will catch you next week. Bye.